If you are considering transferring from a public college or university in the state of Kentucky, then it is important to understand the General Education Transfer Agreement, also known as block transfer. This agreement includes the Kentucky Community and Technical College System and the 8 public universities within the state. These institutions are Eastern Kentucky University, Kentucky State University, Morehead State University, Murray State University, Northern Kentucky University, the University of Kentucky, the University of Louisville, and Western Kentucky University. Each of these institutions have divided most of their general education requirements into the same 5 categories. These categories are communication, arts and humanities, social and behavioral sciences, quantitative reasoning, and natural sciences. Let's use KCTCS as an example. This institution has chosen to assign their general education requirements to these categories. In communication, English 101, English 102, and any oral communication course. In arts and humanities, any humanities, and any heritage course. In social and behavioral sciences, 2 social and behavioral sciences from unique disciplines. In quantitative reasoning, any quantitative reasoning course. In natural sciences, any natural science with lab. You will notice that 2 requirements remain. We'll talk more about those later. For now, let's introduce some new terminology. When a student has completed all of the requirements for one category, they become category certified in that specific area. When a student completes all 5 categories, they become course certified. Lastly, the remaining courses are required to become fully Gen Ed certified. Let's continue to explore these certifications and how they work. To understand how these will aid in your transfer, it's best to consider 2 sets of requirements. We are already familiar with KCTCS, so let's compare these categories with EKU. As you can see, both schools use the same categories to divide their requirements. Yet there are both similarities and differences in the requirements that make up each category. This agreement allows for differences. In fact, that's why it exists. Regardless of the different requirements within each category, a category certificate gained by meeting the requirements of an entire category can travel with you to complete the corresponding category at your transfer institution. That is, a student who is category certified in social and behavioral sciences from KCTCS will be exempted from social and behavioral science requirements at every other Kentucky public institution. In this example, both the communication and quantitative reasoning categories look very similar. The only differences might be the variety of courses each institution will accept to fulfill each category requirement. However, the arts and humanities and social and behavioral sciences categories begin to look more different. KCTCS and EKU both have separate lists of requirements, even though they belong to the same category. Despite these differences, a student who has been certified in arts and humanities or social and behavioral sciences from KCTCS will not need to worry about the specific requirements in those same categories at EKU. Lastly, while the specific type of requirement may vary between categories, they may also vary in number. For example, KCTCS requires students to complete a natural science course and science lab to earn their category certification. EKU requires students to complete 2 natural science courses from different disciplines. Despite the differences in number of classes and credit hours, a student with category certification in natural sciences from KCTCS will not have to complete additional science courses for their general education. They have met a 6 credit hour requirement by only completing 3 to 4 credit hours. This could potentially free up additional elective space in your degree plan after you transfer. The next type of certification is known as core certification, and this simply refers to a student who has completed all 5 categories. Whereas a student who has completed 1 to 4 categories may only be certified in some areas of general education, core certified students are exempted from all categories at their transfer institution. There is one additional certification beyond having all 5 categories completed. Institutions are allowed to add additional requirements before giving student full general education certification. At KCTCS, these requirements vary based on the student's goal of an Associate of Art or Associate of Science degree. The Associate of Art requires the completion of an additional social and behavioral science course and either a natural science or quantitative reasoning course. The associative science requires an additional natural science and quantitative reasoning course. At most universities, however, these additional requirements usually involve diversity or foreign languages. EKU's additional requirement is 2 courses in diversity of perspectives and experiences. Completing these additional requirements and earning a full general education certification will overwrite any additional general education requirements at your transfer institution. Here are a few additional notes. Your general education options are flexible. By taking courses required at your own institution, you can be sure that you are completing similar requirements at your transfer institution. As you plan your transfer, it helps to know what courses are paired together in a category. This way, you can create a schedule that will allow you to earn your certifications as soon as you might need them. It is also important to remember that category certification will not exempt you from major specific requirements that could have otherwise been completed as a general education course. If your transfer major requires a specific chemistry course that can be taken for a general education requirement, it is best to take its transfer equivalent as part of your category. This will ensure that, though you are category certified, you will not have missed opportunities to combine your degree requirements. Transfer can be complicated, but very rewarding. Work with transfer staff from both your sending and receiving institutions to better understand what you can expect out of your transfer.